everyone, I am Madeline Talusan of 1-4N, and I'm here to discuss Lesson 8, Employee Separation and Retention. Let us first talk about what employee separation and retention is. Employee separation is the process of fairly and efficiently terminating workers, while on the contrary, employee retention is the act of keeping employees and maintaining the good workers. This too is considered to be one of the most important functions of the HR practitioners, for it affects directly the performance of the organization. Topic 1.1: Managing voluntary and involuntary turnover. Employee turnover. It is a situation wherein the service agreement of the employee with his or her organization comes to an end and the employee leaves the organization. Either the employees leave the organization in his or her own accord, or he or she has been dismissed by the organization. Employee turnover has two types: the voluntary turnover and the involuntary turnover. So first, let us discuss about voluntary turnover. It refers to the employee's decision to leave the company, or to put it simply, the turnover initiated by the employees. So here are some of the causes why employee engage to the voluntary turnover. Number 1 is the professional reason. They seek separation when they decided to leave the organization to seek for better positions, job responsibilities, and job status outside of the present organization. Number 2 is personal reason. They often leave the company for personal reasons such as when they are experiencing family relocation like marriage, health crisis, maternity, and child rearing. There are also other factors that you can consider when why employee engage to voluntary turnover. Number 1 is the co-workers' attitude. Workplace was not as they are expecting. There was a mismatch between the job and the job worker itself. Too little coaching and feedback. Few growth and advancement opportunities. Feeling devalued and unrecognized. Stress from overwork and work-life imbalance. Loss of trust and confidence to the senior leaders. And also, he or she may be leaving for something better. The other type of turnover is the involuntary turnover. It is a turnover initiated by the organization and is caused by factors which remain beyond the purview of the employee. Here are some of the causes why employee has been dismissed by the organization. Number 1 is health problems. Health problems that makes the employee invalid or unfit to continue the job. Number 2 is the behavioral problems. Employees' objectionable and unruly behavior to the organization may also lead to his or her involuntary separation. Number 3 is the organizational problems. This is another important factor that contributes to the involuntary separation. It may be caused by retirement, dismissal, layoff, retrenchment, and the right sizing. Now that we're done discussing the two types of turnover, let's proceed to the principles of justice. It has three categories and can be named as outcome fairness or the outcome justice, the procedural justice, and the interactional justice. So first is the outcome fairness or the outcome justice. From the word fairness, it refers to the fairness of outcome distribution and reflects with regards on how the employees have been treated. Moving on to the next category is the procedural justice. It refers to the decision-making process. Was the procedure is consistent, unbiased, accurate, ethical, and representative? On the contrary, interactional justice is simply referring to how the decision was made. It mainly focuses on methods to determine the outcome received. Next is the progressive discipline and the alternative dispute resolution. Termination should come about at the end of systematic discipline program. Effective discipline programs have two central components. The first one is the documentation, which includes a specific publication of work rules and job description that should be in place prior to the administering of the discipline. And lastly, the progressive punitive measures. Alternative dispute resolution has 4 stages: the open door policy, peer review, mediation, and the arbitration. The first one is the open door policy. The two people in conflict tries to arrive at a settlement together. If none can be reached, they proceed to the peer review, a panel that is composed of employees of the organization that are at the same level of those people in the dispute, hears the case and attempts to help the parties arrive at a settlement. If none can be reached, they proceed to the mediation. A neutral third party from the outside of the organization hears the case and via a non-binding process tries to help the dispute arrive at settlement. If none can be reached, they proceed to the arbitration, wherein a professional arbitrator from outside of the organization hears the case and resolves it unilaterally by rendering a specific decision or award. Most arbitrators are experienced employment attorneys or arbitrators. Employee Assistance Program. So what is Employee Assistance Program? It is a referral service that supervisors or employees use to seek professional treatment for various problems. It is designed to deal with personal issues that may be impacting the performance of the employee to the organization. So here in this slide, we're going to talk about the different forms of job withdrawal. They either develop a set of behaviors in succession to avoid their work situation. Within the behavior change area, an employee will try to change the situation that is causing the dissatisfaction. For example, if the employee is unhappy within the management style, he or she might consider a department move. However, in the physical withdrawal phase, the employee may do the following: leaves the job, takes an internal transfer, and to start become absent or tardy. On the contrary, if an employee is unable to leave the job situation, he or she will experience psychological job withdrawal. Whether they will become disengaged and may show less job involvement to the organization, which will create large costs to the company, such as the dissatisfied customers. The key driving force behind of all the job withdrawal is the job satisfaction, which we will define as a pleasurable feeling that results from the perception that one's job or allow the fulfillment of one's important job values. It has three important aspects to consider: the function of values, the different view of employees, and their perception. So here in this slide, we're going to talk about the different sources of job dissatisfaction. Number one is the unsafe working conditions. It is the hazard that have potential cause to the employee's death or injury. With that being said, if the employee conclude that their health or lives are at risk because of the job, attracting and retaining the job workers are impossible. Next is the personal disposition. It has been defined that disposition is their mood or general attitude about their lives. Another one is the task and role of the employee, wherein as a predictor of the job dissatisfaction, nothing surpasses than the nature of the task itself. Many aspects of a task have been linked to the job dissatisfaction. Another factor to consider is the supervisors and coworkers. They affect the job satisfaction. A person may be satisfied for his or her supervisor for 1 to 2 reasons. First, the job incumbent may see her supervisor as having warmth, that is, genuinely caring about the worker and respecting her as a person. Lastly, the pay and benefits. When the company have good pay and benefits, there will be no problem for the employee. For some people, pay is a reflection of their activity. So, pay satisfaction takes uncritical significance when it comes to retention. But if in contrary, it may lead to job dissatisfaction. If the business wish to assess or measure the satisfaction level of its employees, they may consider using the following scale. Number 1 is the JDI or the Job Descriptive Index. It emphasizes various facets of satisfaction, including pay, the work itself, supervision, co-workers, and promotions. The other one is the pay satisfaction questionnaire. It focuses on more specific dimensions such as pay levels, benefits, pay structures, and pay rises. Thus, this measure gives a more detailed view of exactly what aspects of pay are most or least satisfying. So this is the end of my presentation. I hope you learned something from this, and once again, I am Madeline Talusan from BSBA HRM 14N.